Welcome to How to Decorate from Ballard Designs, a weekly podcast all about the trials and triumphs of decorating and redecorating your home. I'm Caroline. I'm on the marketing team.
And I'm Taryn, and I'm a product designer.
I'm Liz. I head up the creative team.
We're your hosts. Join the expert team at Ballard Designs for tips, tricks, and tales from interior designers, stylists, and other talents in the design world.
Plus, we'll answer your decorating dilemmas at the end of each episode.
We love answering your questions, so don't forget to email us at podcast@ballarddesigns.net.
Now, on with the show.
All right. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
I am so happy to be back to chat with you ladies.
Oh, it's been so long.
I know. Way too long.
It's been ridiculously long. Yeah.
It's been since I think we recorded our last Trials and Triumphs in August.
That's
so
insane.
I think all of us have some backlog of topics
So
to cover.
months
Yes.
of trials in our homes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So who wants to go first?
Liz.
Or- okay. Yeah. Liz, you
Okay,
go first.
I'll go first. Okay, so you might remember that I had my dining room painted in the spring. And it looked great, except that when all of the foliage came in, the color that I picked, which is a very light green, it was Ancient Marble by Sherwin Williams, beautiful color. It ended up being the same color as every other room. Because I picked the color in the winter, and then when I had the room painted in the spring and all of the leaves came in and it kind of like bounced green into my home, you couldn't tell that I painted that room at all. And it was ridiculous.
I think you shared some photos on
I
the
did.
on
I
the
did.
episode.
So, you know what? I take that as a loss. It's totally okay. I learned my lesson and I had it painted again. And it is beautiful now. I went with a really rich, dark green Retreat by Sherwin Williams. And it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. It's like, it feels a little bit more period to the craftsman house too. And looks really fantastic with the dark wood trim. And
Okay, I've only seen it via like a Zoom background.
yes.
It looks like it has a little bit of a tealiness to it, or maybe that's just the
Yes.
lighting.
One of those things that we kind of always talk about is like choosing complex colors that have multiple undertones.
Yes.
It looks a little bit blue at
Mhm.
sometimes during the day. It looks a little more green at other times. It looks a little bit gray, honestly, at different times too. So depending on the lighting, it kind of transforms the space. The whole room, actually almost every room in my house is about 13 or 14 by 13 or 14. All the rooms are square.
Amazing.
And the darker color doesn't make the room feel smaller. It does make it feel more intimate, but it feels more elevated. And that's really what I want for my dining room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my dining room does double duty, where it's my dining room, it's our breakfast room, it's, we do homework there, it's my office.
You have that big rounded banquette.
Yeah, I have our Nolan banquette.
And what's that covered in?
It is covered in a light blue sunbrella fabric. Yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, it kind of all goes together.
Beautiful.
Yeah, really well.
I do really like, and again, I've only seen it via a Zoom background, but one thing that I think is nice about you have that dark wood trim. And I find this about your purple room that you record the podcast in.
Yeah.
The dark wall color looks so good with the trim, where it's like it's not a huge contrast. They sort of blend together, and there's a coziness to it that's really nice.
Yeah, I really like the way that looks. And then in my living room, I still have the white walls, which is Greek Villa,
I think.
Greek Villa by Sherwin Williams, which is just like a really, really lovely warm white. And that against the dark trim is just really kind of just sharp and pretty.
What age is your house again? Can you remind?
1930.
1930.
Yeah.
I know you have a home that you do like have to appreciate the age of, and I love how you honor just its legacy by with the dark molding and stuff. So I think you working with it versus against it is so lovely, and to your point, kind of making it even feel better.
Yeah.
With the color. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I've always got paint color like chips.
Yes.
Like as soon as I settle on one,
you're
like
the
I
one
find
that
paint.
ran straight to the paint store from one of our podcast episodes, or maybe
I
have
did.
multiple times.
Oh yeah. No, I totally have.
You
And
are queen of color.
I always keep like there's always a paint swatch up in one room where I'm thinking about another room. So thinking about painting my kitchen, but we'll see.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm also
She's on a streak now. Room by room. I like this.
I know. Yeah. So
It's awesome.
Yeah. So we'll see. Because I always like to think about what the color looks like from the other room too.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I
love
have the
that
dining
play.
room that looks into the kitchen, it has one of those like classic swinging doors with a 3/3 window pane in it. It's pretty great. So yeah. So we'll see if I actually paint the kitchen or actually do something bigger with the kitchen this year. But if I do just a small thing in the kitchen, I will paint it. And there I'm thinking Malted Milk by Sherwin Williams.
Oh.
Which is kind of it doesn't feel so different than the color that you have in your basement, Caroline.
Oh, okay.
The Farron ball
setting plaster.
Okay,
so pink-ish.
It's
so
like a shade of brown. It's like
it's kind of a
moussey, like
plastered pink.
Yeah.
Like, right?
Yeah.
It feels like a little bit flatter, a little bit dirtier, but not dirty.
This is going to sound terrible.
Okay, do it.
But like, it's like it's sort of like a more nude. Like it's kind of a nudie flesh color, I guess.
It is. Well,
like it's not salmon, but it's sort of in the vein of like salmon, pink, brown. I don't know.
like chocolate mousse, but lighter. You know how like Pantone's chocolate mousse?
But in a very light pink?
Yeah, because like I feel
like
like
mocha mousse?
Mocha mousse.
Mocha mousse?
But
like
that's
two
what it
shades,
was.
but like 2 or 3 shades lighter.
Lighter,
setting plaster was a
lighter,
brown.
and yeah. So this might be a little bit more light pink than setting plaster.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
setting plaster, I think in my Zoom background looks very pink.
Okay,
whereas
but in reality,
the paint chip looks a little bit more salmon, like a little more yellow in it.
Okay,
but
interesting.
Do
Yeah,
you have overhead lights down there?
Yeah, and I think just there's not a lot of natural light.
I just was wondering. I knew it wasn't a lot of natural light.
Yeah.
I didn't know if the lighting we see is overhead. Being a basement,
I do have an
that's
overhead
generally
right.
The norm is overhead lighting in a dark basement. So I wasn't.
Well, we've also used Malted Milk in a few of our photo shoots.
Okay.
That's what I was like. It sounds familiar.
It sounds familiar. Because we keep using it in our photo shoots.
Yeah.
And honestly, it makes every room that we've done it in, like, and it's primarily been bedrooms that we've used it in, just feels so warm and inviting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to see what that looks like in a kitchen. See what happens.
Again,
I don't know. We'll see.
I bet you will look really pretty in that color. Because don't you feel like the setting plaster, like my sulking room pink, again, is just like, so I feel pretty in the room. Like it gives such a rosy glow.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that will give off that kind of like pink tone that will make the room feel warm and cozy.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah,
I
so
love that
those
you're
are-
taking us room by room and like dipping each one. It's fun.
I mean, I kind of had to figure out the house first before I started really getting into color.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I think what you did is, you kind of like start with a white and then kind of adjust from there.
Right.
Is a good way to go, especially because when you've moved into a house, to your point, like you don't necessarily know what it's going to look like in the spring versus the winter versus the summer, and it can change so much. And
Right.
you need to live with it a little bit. So I think it's a good lesson.
Yeah. So that's been a fun kind of growth period between each room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Those are all right.
Those are triumphs.
Those
are triumphs.
Okay.
I'll take those
trials?
for the W. Yeah. Oh boy. I mean, just like, do I have any trials? Lady.
Trials. Trials for trials. Yeah.
I feel like kicking this year off, like there's just like a whole bunch of like little things around the house, like the step garbage can in the kitchen doesn't want to open anymore, and the new washing machine has come unlevel and rattling the whole house.
Oh,
or, the back porch step, has a big chunk that might come off. So I'm like, oh, do I need a new back porch this year?
Right. Like the one chunk comes off and you're like, but is it time for the whole?
But it's,
Right. Because you're like, am I just fixing this step or are we like?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cozy this year up to my architect friend and we're going to see. We're going to see what we can get done.
Okay. It's just coming back to me that I think in our last Trials and Triumphs, you did a little basement makeover with the contractor who you
did not work out. That was,
But at least that space is a good, little upgrade and
Yeah. And that has actually been really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's been really nice. Especially because I carved out a painting studio for myself in the basement.
Oh, nice.
So just having that one entry room that I did have fixed up, even though I wasn't happy with the whole process of that, taking that step and having that room fixed up makes it much nicer to enter into my basement.
Mm-hmm.
So then it makes me want to go into the painting studio a little bit more. So so that's another win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to stay positive. and we will figure out that back porch when we need to figure out that back porch.
Well, okay, your basement. Well, are you?
Yes.
Done? Okay.
Oh no.
If so, then I'll dovetail off of your basement because my basement is one of my triumphs. So I was trying to even think if we've talked about it, but we have a huge basement, but there's never been any sort of storage in it. And when you move in, you kind of move in, you have all these boxes, you're like, oh, put it in the basement, we'll deal with it later. Well, it was 5 years later, and it was finally just, honestly, every time I went down there, it was such a mess that it felt like a physical weight on us.
Yeah.
Because it had gotten so bad and such a disaster, just stuff everywhere. It wasn't but there was no rhyme or reason. If you did want to go find anything, it just...
Yeah, good luck.
It felt just like a constant weight on us. And I think it felt so bad that it felt like this huge project to tackle, right? And I think sometimes I just... One day, and I want to say in the spring or maybe early summer, just blew up and was like, we have to do this today. Will, call your dad. He's coming over. He's taking the girls, and we're going to clean out this basement. And I don't know what had gotten into me, but I was just like, we're doing it right now. Now. Anyway, so we basically just cleaned out as much as we could. We just dumped stuff. I went to Home Depot and got one of those Bagster bags that you put on your... And we just we had old cabinetry in there that the previous owners had left. There was a ton of stuff down there that we just had never gotten around to getting rid of. Old doors that weren't being used. Yeah. Anyway, so we cleaned everything out and that was wonderful. So I don't know if I spoke about that on the podcast, but we did that. But so we got rid of a bunch of things, but we had a bunch of Tupperware and we didn't have any shelving. And so finally, sometime this fall, Will sort of had the same thing. He's like, I'm just so sick of this. We're going to Home Depot right now. We're getting 5 of those huge, husky,
bins.
6 foot, yellow. Yeah.
He just put them all together in one afternoon, put all the tubs on there. And the thing that, so it's been amazing just because there's actual floor space down there. But the thing that sort of annoyed me about the whole thing is that this literally took us 2 afternoons.
And how long did you live with it?
5 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could have done this years ago, but I think it felt so messy. It seemed like a huge undertaking. But we did it in 2 afternoons. And I was like, God, with 2 of us working together, we just knocked it out. I wish we'd done it ages ago. Anyway, but that now at least, going down to get all of our Christmas decorations out and put them away. It was just so much.
There's a piece to it almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
It felt like this thing that I had weighing on me is gone. So that was a big win, even though it didn't, sorry, I'm looking at my notes, even though it really was not, it wasn't even a huge financial investment. It just, but anyway, for some reason it took us a long time, you know?
Taken care of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was a big one. And then but here was a trial. I'm trying to go in chronological order. So I think in September, the leaves were starting to die. And I think I spoke a long time ago on the podcast, I believe this was 2022, about our house getting struck by lightning.
Yes.
And what actually happened is the lightning struck a tree that was about 6 feet from our dining room. The lightning bounced off the tree, we think. And essentially blew a hole in our wall and fried a bunch of stuff. Anyway, we got all that fixed. Well, Will, of course, being someone who works with trees a lot, was all worried about the tree, was worried we'd have to take it down. It was this beautiful oak tree, like huge, really nice. Anyway, at the time, we had an arborist come out. We had 2 arborists come out and give us, multiple opinions. They told us just to chop a limb off and fertilize it. We spent all this money doing that. Well, this fall, it was not looking so great. We had another arborist come out and he's like, you need to take the whole thing out. And as I'm sure you both know, I think you did this recently.
Yeah, we've had a tree taken out.
Taking out a tree, it's just not how you want to spend money. And you're like,
really
And
isn't.
it's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. And you're like, this makes really no impact on my day-to-day life. And it's a really big check to write. So that was really unfortunate. Obviously, I'm glad a tree's not going to fall in our house. But that was kind of a bummer.
That is a bummer.
But, onward and upward.
Yep.
Okay, so also, I have to do an update because I believe the last time we recorded Trials and Triumphs, I was speaking about my stockings project, I was needlepointing my stockings. Well, in October, I got my stockings back from the stocking finisher, and they look beautiful. It was our first Christmas with our new stockings. It was fabulous. And if you would like to see the stockings, you can go look at my TikTok, but they turned out great.
I've been loving following your whole foray into getting the stockings done on TikTok. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I had to talk about it somewhere.
Good.
So anyway, yeah.
They look so good. Okay.
Yes.
And how did they perform this Christmas?
They performed great. My family did report that they were slightly smaller than our old stockings, partially because the old stockings were knitted, and so they really stretch. Yeah, there's a lot more give.
Yeah.
These didn't have much give, but we did fit, or I shall see Santa fit everything that they needed to fit. He needed to fit into the stocking.
Great.
It was really shoved in there, but it was in there, so it was fine. But yeah, I will say they looked really pretty in the room. I didn't necessarily want to design stockings that would only go in one room, but I felt like the color palette worked really nice in there, which
because each stocking is also a different color.
Yeah, each stocking is a different color. Yeah.
You also have you know what I mean? It wasn't like you picked one palette.
Yes, true.
You have a mix.
Right. So in future living rooms, there's options. Correct. Yeah. Anyway, so that was a big win. And then I have lots of needlepoint projects, some home related for the future. So I'll talk about that on a future episode. But anyway, stockings were a win. So yay. Okay. I'm just going through my whole list. So, okay. I also spoke, I believe, previously about Birdie's bed. Did we talk about this? I had I picked out a fabric. It's a fabric of ours. I believe it's called Kier Capri. It's sort of a graphic-y, batik, ikat. I don't know what y'all would call it. Like it's a graphic print, but it's sort of...
It has some organic qualities to the geometric pattern. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. And it's sort of in a greeny blue color. Anyway, so I took that to the upholsterer to get made into a bed. I did this in July. He told me that it would be 12 to 14 weeks max. The reason I had this specific bed made is because I really wanted to have a trundle in her room. She can only fit a twin in there, but I wanted a trundle because Blair's room, our oldest, which has a queen, becomes our guest room when we have family in town, my parents specifically. So I wanted to have a trundle for Blair to sleep on when we're using her room as a guest room.
Right.
me thinking, oh, July, we'll have plenty of time to get it for like Thanksgiving and Christmas when we have guests. It was not ready at Thanksgiving or at Christmas. So that was a big bust, and I was pretty annoyed. But, it's supposed to be ready this week. So
they're upholstering this bed?
I mean, he was building it from scratch, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But, I mean,
building the whole frame, building the trundle mechanism, and then upholstering the whole thing.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was kind of annoying because I was really hoping for it to be ready for the holidays, but it wasn't. And I suppose it's good that it wasn't because our toilet overflowed in the adjacent bathroom the day after Christmas and got all in Birdie's room, all over the carpet.
Oh, no.
It ran down into the basement, so we were really glad that we actually had organized the basement because...
Oh, no. Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, my gosh. It was... Y'all, it was... I actually asked the plumber about the thing with your in-laws because I was like, is this what happened? He said pretty much no. Someone shoved a bunch of wet wipes in the potty, flushed it, and it stopped up our main sewer line. So it wasn't that it was shooting water, but it was
out by
overflowing.
the road, like
no, it was overflow. It basically
toilet line, essentially.
It was the main sewer line, but then it got so backed up that the water started coming out from underneath the toilet.
Oh, that's so terrible.
And thank God we had gone out, and then it started happening.
So you came home to this?
Yes. Luckily, Will had been at the playground with the girls, and for certain reasons, they had to come home for an emergency. And so luckily, like we had planned to be out for 4 or 5 hours. Luckily, he came back after 45 minutes and could turn the water off. Thank God, because
oh my gosh, I can't even imagine like 4 or 5 hours of that. Yeah.
Anyway, so I suppose it's a good thing that this bed was not made and recently installed, because then it would have been,
oh my God,
covered in potty water. But anyway, so that was fun. We did not have to get a new toilet, which is great. But plumbers, like that is not an expensive,
not cheap.
Yeah, like anytime you're gonna have a plumber out to your house, you're gonna spend $500 minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just the starting rate.
We have some like small tweak things we need a plumber, but it's like to your point, we're just like waiting until we have a plumber.
Yeah.
Like we're just living with the tweaks. Because we're like, oh my God, plumber come out. Yeah.
So anyway, that is my whole laundry list of all of my trials and triumphs from the last.
That was really good.
That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot.
I'm just going down the list.
Oh my God. Anyway. But you totally reminded me that, I had a tree taken out in this whole time too.
Mm-hmm. See, I know. We're reminding it's been 4 months, essentially.
Yeah.
Like it's been some time.
Yeah. A tree taken out, a fence rebuilt part of it. Like,
okay.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
How's your neighbor's house going, by the way? There was a lot of activity over there for a minute.
Oh, so the neighbor who's now an Airbnb?
Yes.
Yeah. So he built a small house in the back. Just to remind everybody, he built a small 2-bedroom ADU, additional dwelling unit, in the back. And then he moved out of the main house in the front. So both the front and the back are 2 separate Airbnbs.
Oh, okay.
So it's been like that for about a year now. And honestly, it's no big deal.
Okay, that's
so
good.
I checked out his listings.
Obviously. Yeah.
Obviously. And I have never seen more stipulations and rules and guidelines. And if you park incorrectly, that will be $200. And if you do something else, that'll be $200.
How much activity is over there?
So there's a constant rotation.
Oh, okay.
There's nobody there this week, but it's also the first week in January that we're recording this. So, but there's been a constant turnover of guests there, and thankfully, I'm like, where's the wood to knock on? We have not had any issues with any of the renters there. So, but again, like he's got so many stipulations.
Yeah.
So
it's good for you.
It's good. It's good for us.
Yeah.
Although The other week, somebody did park their car in the front lawn when there's clearly like a driveway and it's a front lawn. Like it is not.
You don't park on grass unless you're like parking on like a soccer field for like a
Or like, before he did all this, there was like a parking pad that was like half grass and everything, but that was in the back of the house. Like it's clearly a front lawn.
Maybe
that one we did send a pic. We're like, hey, just FYI.
Yeah, was the fine for where you park added to the listing post after that?
No, I know, right? I'm like, so that person probably got fined. But yeah, it's actually been okay.
No, good.
And because our house isn't huge, I've honestly considered like, come on down and visit and stay in the Airbnb next door.
Oh, it makes sense, family.
I thought you were saying come on down to visit to the Airbnb renters. No. To your friends and family and stay.
No, to my friends and family.
Yeah.
My friends and family.
Hi, stay.
Nice strangers. Come down. I got my bean pot.
Oh my gosh, my bean pot's working overtime. Love.
All right, Taryn, you're up.
We had a really good fall winter season, I think, overall, or at least I'm feeling really positive about it.
Mm-hmm.
When I was trying to think of trials, I know I had them, but they're not like, of course, top of mind.
Mm-hmm.
So triumphs, I know I had talked about. I had picked out some fabric for some drapes and reupholstering two of these little low round back little sitting chairs.
Gosh. Yes. Wait. Sorry. Continue.
And
I forgot about the chairs, but I got to see the chairs at the Halloween party. So
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So the drapery looks fantastic. The room needed drapery. I know. We're all rolling our eyes because we've said this so many times. I knew it. The room was just so white because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right.
Left it white. It was too white. It has helped.
You had a lot of projects. So, you were just getting around to it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just getting around to the spot. So, yes. I did not have a large vision for my living room, and I gave up. When I was designing the whole house, it was like there'll be sofas in here and a television. So, triumphs are we just got a framed television. We're going to put that in. So I'm sure that'll be a trial as I talk about David and I hanging it soon. But we needed to shift TVs around in the house, and so we ended up just getting a new one for there. We got the drapes in the living room. And they look fantastic. They're like a maroon. They're just printed, so they're nothing too special, but they're perfect for this season of life. And they just add the color and a little bit of pattern that I needed in the space. And then I had the two chairs upholstered, and the front is in a velvet of ours, which is this very kind of terracotta color. And then the back is a pinstripe. And I did all the buttons and the pinstripe because it's a tufted back. And they are so sweet, and all the piping is in the little stripe too. So they are, I think the stripe is called cinnamon something. So it's a little dirtier than it's more of a brown than the actual velvet that is the front. And what I love about the velvet is it is essentially wipeable and kind of, and so far with the dog sitting on it, it hasn't been a problem, and the kids. So
awesome.
they just look. So what I did by adding those two things is I've really made that space feel, I'm down to like picking out pillows. So I bought some fabric recently to finish out a pillow. Like I've never really, like the pillows have always just been like in, out, whatever. I've seen two here, one there. So I kind of have more the fabrics that were contenders for the drapes that I didn't go forward with. I'm making into pillows because they still work with the rug and they work together. Great. So there's, and I don't know, pillows again feel so like, if I don't like it, go to.
Next.
So, yeah, probably
low risk.
Yeah. The chairs being upholstered were probably the highest risk, but they were the most reward. And then the drapes, again, we stuck to a cheaper cotton printed fabric. So I'm happy about those because I didn't overspend. And I absolutely love them. And I know with the kids running out and touching them, and it's right by the back door where the dog comes in and out. So like, it's worked out great other than the one drape is over the one by the door that we opened to let everyone in the backyard. There's an air vent So would the heat blow away.
It's always like puffed
so it gets
out.
a little Marilyn Monroe, like
it's always like one big, and I was like, I should have thought of this. I'm sure there's a way to tack a string to the back of it, some sort of way to the wall, and like to hold it from like. I'm sure there's a way, but it is right over an air vent. So I'll go ahead and say that's my slight learnings for anybody. Is now I just like the lining and the front just like puff up into one big ball when the air is on, and so I have to like shift it down. So I scoot it down the drapery rod when that happens, just kind of over in front of the door and then back where it needs to go. But
I recall when you were talking about this before, you were a little worried about the chairs. So
yeah, the chairs like chef's kiss. They're great. They are so great.
The ticking stripe was such a good choice.
And so the rug has so many colors in it, but the drapes are definitely like a maroon, raisin, port color. And then the kind of terracotta and the browns and the dirt. So everything's kind of a dirty, muddy pink. Like, I know, I keep going in that family, or reds, or but there's some blues in the rug too that I'm hoping I can pull out a little bit of. So I'm very happy. I'm so happy. So
good.
yeah,
that's awesome.
So that's been good. We also trial would be that when we did the primary downstairs, because we weren't living in it right away, didn't really pick out any. We have it all sorts of like it's ready for sconces of all sorts, all strung up in the walls somewhere. There's wiring. But we didn't pick any because we weren't in that space. We're using it as a playroom. The problem is you can't turn on the lights when you go in there. And so we're using it as a guest room. And when you walk in, you can get to a lamp. But until then, it's one of those where you're like floundering in the dark of a room. And I was like, this is such a bad guest experience too, because we're using it as a guest room. So I finally had David put the 2 lamps in there on Google, on their little like switches or whatever. So you can control it by like asking Google to turn it on, but it's a timer. It's just a timer. So now they come on every night. So you can there's light in that room no matter what time, and obviously during the day. And it has guests can turn them off. So it's not an issue there either. So that has been that was like a thing where I was like, I don't want to install sconces where I don't know where I want to put the bed. It was like one of those where I was like, do I just install lighting so you can flick the switch? Or do I just what can I do in the meantime? So I recommend if you have a situation like that, having them on a timer or having it on the Google thing is so, so nice.
Yeah, that's smart. I would not have thought of that.
Well, he has all of our living room lights, and we have bedroom lights that are on. We have multiple, and you name them so you can talk if you have a Google speaker. And I know that there's many systems. So we just use Google in our house.
Yeah.
And so you could just say, hey, Google, turn on living room lights, turn off living room lights. So it's just nice because they come on every evening. I'm not going around and turning on all 4 lamps.
Yeah.
So it's been better.
I do the same thing. And it's really great for when we go out of town too, because you can set it's so much easier to set the timers for your whole house.
Yeah.
And then
do you have to have a Google speaker?
Turn them off.
No.
Could you just use the app? Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I like it because
you can
manually take it from the app. Yeah. You can say it. You can physically turn off the lamp. There's multiple options. What I do is they just come on. There's not, growing up, and even in our last house, I remember every evening it would be go around the room,
and turn them
all the lights, turn them all off in the evening. And so that was just one that, again, I let go. And then I was like, why is this not on a timer? It's so funny. We did all these other spaces that we live in all the time, but the ones we don't. Yeah. And to your point, it's also nice just when you're out of town.
I was turning lights off in my bed from Michigan. I was turning lights off in Atlanta. It was okay.
Let people know I'm there, but not there.
I'm not there.
It feels very like Home Alone, where he's got the little cardboard cutout dancing in front of the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
I think lastly was just the pool. We're not in it, which is the comical part. But man, we like our pool maintenance people, but also it is the most comical thing. One day we get there and all of a sudden we just hear sawing. They're just doing they're there for routine, whatever. And then we hear sawing and I'm like, what is happening? No one's spoken to me. And then they're just literally sawing pipes and putting in new pipes back there. And I'm like, I feel like this was
you should maybe infrastructure things tell me about.
So then did I complain about I should say trial? The trial being that
you mentioned something about pool, you needing a new pool
filter.
piece.
Right.
And you're like, how did this happen? Or you just moved
a new
in.
filter. Like a brand new, wasn't the right size for the pool.
Okay.
Which, whatever. So they put in the big one. Anyway, so this last time, they just are out there putting in some new pipe. I don't know. We didn't think anything was wrong. And then recently we had a very warm Christmas time. And so we had said, let's warm up the pool and go swimming because it was warm enough out that you could sit.
It was like 70 degrees around Christmas.
So it was like the pool water was still cold, but we could bring it up to 80 and then it would be comfortable to be in and sitting around, for an afternoon with all the family over. And the heater wouldn't work. And we were like, man, pool life. And this. Nobody who has a pool is like, it's like an ice maker. You never hear positives unless it's when it's working, it's working.
Right.
When it's not working, everyone.
But it's always broken.
But of course.
And when it breaks, especially an ice maker, it's just a total disaster.
Yeah. Oh, that one's like again, you walked out of the house and now the thing, like
you ruined your floors and you have to refloor everything.
Yeah, that's what you hear about the ice maker. Luckily, the pool's not that way, but because we're not using it, we're like, well, guess we'll just wait for the heater. Of course, we're like kicking the can down the road on putting money into that when you're not using it. So I guess that was another trial that we're like, all right, we need. Yeah. We don't. So those I didn't have any, I was going to say my living room was my big thing. But I have bought fabric for the cushions in my dining room because something about finishing up my living room to a visual chef's kiss. I now need to finish the chairs in there so I can say, okay, the dining room is at a point where I'm okay with it. It's like content.
Yeah.
Living room's a little more content. Just in time to change my mind, I'm sure. But you know how to.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, that's kind of the fun of all of this, where we think we've got one room done, and then you just like open your eyes to another room, and you're like, oh, but I could do so much more in here.
Yeah, or you see something that just sparks an idea, that joy, or that idea, something creative. Like I think we were talking about trends at some point, and they were talking how people are just like even doing the ceiling, just painting the ceiling. And I was like, you know what this room would use? If I did like a pork colored ceiling to go with all of this.
In the living room? Okay, but all right. I'm struggling with the ceiling, but doesn't it connect to
it would need one piece of molding.
Okay.
I've looked.
Okay.
It would need one trim piece attached to the ceiling to break it from what becomes in the kitchen area.
Okay.
Yes. I would have to trim out the kitchen, but I truly think it's a double piece of molding, glued to my ceiling.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do wish I had done more. I walked into a friend's living room. They had the ceiling, the fifth wall that again was far past my level. Again, why people hire decorators and designers. And this was an area I was like, I wish I'd done more on our ceilings, but it was just like, I can't think about the fifth wall right now. I gotta pick the four walls.
Right.
The fifth wall, please. No one look up. But now it's more of like, I want to add some details. So anyway, that was my again, just speaking about all it takes is like a picture somewhere. And you're like, but would that add it?
Yes.
Yeah. I keep pinning a whole bunch of images of painted ceilings. And I'm like, do I want to? Should I? And how difficult is that? How big of a pain is it to paint your ceiling?
You or a painter?
Either.
Well,
either, right?
Are you asking DIY or are you asking to have someone paint it? Because
having someone paint it, listen, believe me, I am a huge proponent of hiring a professional painter.
Yeah.
Because let me just tell you, they did, all I was responsible for was moving my dining room things out of the room, which was enough. And then they were done in 3 hours, 2 coats of a dark paint.
Yeah.
And then I had to move everything back in, which again was enough. So I'm imagining
it's a one-day project.
Yeah. So I'm imagining
the one
that
day and that much impact. Yeah. To your point.
Oh, so much impact. Yeah. But so I would for a ceiling, I would hire somebody.
Yes.
For sure. But but it always does make me wonder, could I do a ceiling? I wouldn't be necessarily moving anything out. I would have to tarp everything.
Lighting is the one thing they'd have to take down lighting and then paint.
Oh, I don't want to deal with that.
Well, hopefully they would do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would never want to DIY painting the ceiling because I have done that once, only on a bathroom.
Okay.
And it is a real pain in the rear end. Just because you're... Okay. when you've got a roller and you're paint.
Yeah.
You're going, it's a different arm muscle for one, and it's everything's overhead. And everything's overhead. It's just really terrible. Would not recommend.
It doesn't sound fun.
No.
It doesn't sound.
I was on a sort of kick for a while where I really wanted to lacquer the ceiling in our living room.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I got it priced out, and it was It was basically $10,000.
Oh.
And I was like, that is actually comical because...
You're like...
Yeah, no, thank you.
No.
And no.
Yeah. That's I mean, it is beautiful. But
it would be stunning. But I'm also like, my house is not fancy enough or worth enough to warrant a $10,000
that's when the oak tree would have fallen.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
For real. Yeah.
Shellacked ceiling.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Well, it was a good update, everyone. We promise to not go so long.
2026. Let's stick on it. That way,
Yeah.
I can remember all these trials.
I will say, early in our podcast, there was a point where we just did not have enough content to update all the time. So I do think a little bit of space is good because
we didn't have that many trials.
We were like, we're not really moving that fast,
yeah.
you know. So we do need a little bit of space in between them, but not 4 months. So
I know, and I want to see some listeners, who are like moseying on some things too, because I know anyone listening is also trinketing, and so I want to know what.
Yeah, what other projects are going on out there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, write in and tell us.
We also have gotten some great emails about our Pantone color episode, so thank you everyone for listening to that. I enjoyed our conversation, so we'll have to do that again.
We'll have to do more mini episodes like that.
Yeah, we'll try. Okay. All right, well, that's our show. And that's our show. You can find all of the show notes on our blog, howtodecorate.com/podcast.
To send in a decorating dilemma, email your questions to podcast@ballarddesigns.net so we can help you with your space.
And of course, be sure to follow us on social media at Ballard Designs.
Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. And please leave us a review. We'd love to hear your feedback.
Until next time, happy
Happy
decorating.